It was past midnight when Jake Turner, a 36-year-old single dad, was driving home from his late shift at the auto shop. The rain poured down in thick, cold sheets, the kind that blurred the world into gray streaks. His old Ford truck rattled over the lonely back road that cut through the woods outside of town. All he wanted was to get home, take a hot shower, and check on his sleeping 8-year-old daughter, Lily. But that night, fate had other plans. As his headlights swept around a bend, something caught his eye, something that didn't belong on the road. At first, he thought it was a fallen deer. But then he saw it, an arm. Pale. Motionless. Human. Jake slammed the brakes so hard the truck skidded sideways. Heart pounding, he jumped out, his boots splashing into puddles. The rain stung his face as he ran toward the figure lying by the roadside. It was a woman, bloodied, barely conscious, her clothes torn, her hair matted with mud and rain. She tried to move, but a sharp cry escaped her lips. Jake's chest tightened. Hey, it's okay," he said softly, kneeling beside her. "You're safe now. I'm gonna help you." Before we go any further, if you love powerful stories about real human kindness and second chances, make sure to hit that subscribe button, give this video a like, and let us know your thoughts down in the comments. It helps us keep sharing inspiring stories just like this one. You're watching your channel name, where every story reminds us that kindness still exists. Jake called 911 immediately, trying to keep his hands from shaking. The operator told him help was on the way, but in that quiet, stormy night, every minute felt like forever. He grabbed a blanket from his truck and carefully wrapped it around her trembling body. "Can you tell me your name?" he asked gently. She blinked slowly, her voice barely a whisper. "Sarah." Her eyes rolled back, and she passed out. Jake stayed beside her, shielding her from the rain until the ambulance arrived. When the paramedics took her away, something in Jake refused to leave it at that. Maybe it was because she reminded him of someone he used to know. Or maybe it was because kindness had been in short supply since his wife passed away 2 years earlier, and he wasn't about to turn his back on someone who needed help. The next morning, after dropping Lily off at school, Jake went to the hospital to check on the woman. The nurse at the desk gave him a wary look. "Are you family?" she asked. "Not exactly," Jake replied. "I just found her last night. I wanted to make sure she's okay." After a pause, the nurse sighed and pointed him toward room 214. When Jake stepped inside, Sarah lay in the hospital bed, pale and fragile, her neck braced, her legs wrapped. Machines beeped quietly around her. Her eyes fluttered open when she heard him. "You're the man who found me," she said softly. Jake nodded. "Yeah. I just wanted to make sure you made it." Tears welled up in her eyes. "Thank you. I didn't think anyone would stop." Jake pulled a chair close. "You don't have to thank me. Anyone would have done the same." But deep down, he knew that wasn't true. Too many people these days drove past trouble, afraid to get involved. Over the next few weeks, Jake visited Sarah every few days. Doctors told him she had several fractures and might not walk again. She'd been attacked and left for dead, though she didn't remember much of what happened. Her recovery would be long and lonely. One evening, as Jake sat by her bed, she asked about his life. "I'm just a mechanic," he said with a shrug. "Work long hours, raise my little girl. Her name's Lily. She's the reason I keep going." Sarah smiled faintly. "She's lucky to have you." Jake hesitated before asking, "What about you? Do you have family nearby?" Her smile faded. "No. I used to live here years ago, but things fell apart. I moved away. I came back recently, hoping to start over." She paused, her voice trembling. "Guess that didn't go so well." Jake reached out, gently placing his hand over hers. "Hey. Starting over doesn't always look pretty at first. But you're alive. That means there's still a chance." Weeks turned into months. Sarah was eventually discharged from the hospital, still in a wheelchair. She had nowhere to go, and Jake, against the advice of his friends, offered her a place to stay in his small home. He set up the guest room downstairs and helped her settle in. Lily, curious but cautious, peeked around corners at first. But soon, the little girl warmed up to Sarah, reading her bedtime stories and helping her bake cookies in the kitchen. Slowly, laughter started returning to that house. Sarah began helping Jake with small tasks, organizing paperwork for his auto shop, helping Lily with homework. She even started painting again, something she hadn't done in years. Her art filled the house with color and warmth. And for the first time since his wife died, Jake felt the heaviness in his chest begin to lift. But one afternoon, as Jake was cleaning out the garage, he found an old photograph wedged between some boxes. He froze when he looked at it. It was a picture of his late wife, Emily, from years ago. Standing beside her was another woman, Sarah. Jake's heart stopped. He rushed inside, holding the photo. "Sarah, this picture. That's you, isn't it?" Sarah's face went pale. She looked down, her hands trembling. "Yes," she whispered. Jake swallowed hard. "You knew Emily?" Tears welled up in her eyes. "She was my best friend in college." "But she paused, her voice breaking. "We had a falling out. I made a mistake that cost our friendship. She moved away, married you. I didn't even know she'd passed. Jake, I'm so sorry." Jake stood there in silence. The air felt thick. The woman he had rescued, the one living under his roof, was someone from his wife's past. Someone tied to memories he'd buried deep. He didn't know what to say. That night, he sat alone in his truck, staring at the rain-soaked windshield, just like the night he'd found her. He thought about how broken they both were, Sarah, trapped in her guilt and pain, him, trapped in grief and loneliness. And then he realized something. Maybe it wasn't a coincidence that he'd found her that night. Maybe it was grace. Maybe kindness was never about who deserved it, it was about who needed it. The next morning, he walked into the kitchen. Sarah sat quietly by the window, eyes red from crying. Jake placed a mug of coffee in front of her and sat down. "Look," he began softly, "the past can't be changed. But I believe people can. Maybe Emily sent you my way for a reason." Sarah's lips trembled. "You really believe that?" He nodded. "I do. And I think we both have healing left to do." From that day forward, they began to rebuild not just their lives, but a kind of family. Sarah started physical therapy and, with Jake and Lily's support, began to regain movement in her legs. Months later, she took her first steps across the living room, tears streaming down her face as Lily cheered and Jake caught her before she fell. They laughed, cried, and hugged tightly. It wasn't just her legs that were healing, it was their hearts. Years later, Sarah opened a small art studio in town, where she painted scenes of kindness and hope. Jake still ran his auto shop, and Lily, now a teenager, helped Sarah with her gallery after school. Every Thanksgiving, Sarah made sure to set an extra plate at the table, in honor of Emily, the friend who, in a strange way, had brought them all together again. In the end, kindness isn't about grand gestures or perfect people. It's about stopping on a rainy night when someone's broken by the side of the road. It's about showing up, again and again, even when the past hurts. Because sometimes, the person you save, ends up saving you, too. If this story touched your heart, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to your channel name for more inspiring stories that remind us that even in the darkest moments, kindness can light the way.